The Council of Worlds met in emergency session. The chamber was a huge circular room that floated in space above the capital world called Centera Prime. Representatives from 217 different alien species filled the seats. Some appeared as holograms because they could not attend in person. Their faces showed many different emotions: curiosity, worry, even fear. High Counselor Vereen called the meeting to order. She was a Centauran with pale blue skin and 4 arms. She moved them gracefully as she spoke. Members of the Council, we have received a report that needs immediate attention. Research Director Kellex, please present your findings. Kellex stepped forward. Its movements were still a bit unsteady from the ordeal on the Meridian. Honored Council, 3 days ago, my ship was attacked by Krell raiders. We sent a distress call on all frequencies. We did not expect anyone to answer because we were so far from patrolled space, but we received an answer. The holographic display changed. It showed footage of the human fleet appearing in space. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Council members watched 117 warships appear in perfect formation. It was an impressive sight. The species that answered calls themselves humanity. They are from the planet Earth. They arrived with a military force bigger than any I have seen outside of major wars, and what they did next shocked everyone on my vessel. Kellex said. The footage changed again. It showed the battle. Council members watched in shocked silence as human weapons tore through Krell shields and armor. The battle that would normally take community fleets hours to win ended in less than 5 minutes. Ambassador Thalen from the Vraxian Collective stood up. His scales moved with worry. This is unprecedented. An unknown species mobilizes a fleet this size for a single distress call. Their weapons appear equal or better than ours. This could be an invasion force. With respect, Ambassador, Kellex replied. Their actions suggest otherwise. After defeating the Krell, the humans immediately offered medical help. Their doctors treated our wounded with great skill. They shared food and supplies. Captain Brady showed real concern for our well-being. These are not the actions of invaders. Counselor Mara from the Pelleran Republic spoke next. Her feathers looked ruffled with concern, but their response was excessive. 117 warships for a single science vessel. Either they have incredible military resources or they sent their entire fleet. Neither option is comforting. I can explain that. Ambassador Kelvin from the Xenological Institute announced. He projected data onto the main display. My department has been monitoring Earth for 200 cycles. We classified it as a Class 12 death world. We decided not to make contact until we understood the species better. The display showed images of Earth, its cities, its ecosystems, its weather patterns. Humans evolved in gravity much stronger than galactic standard. Their atmosphere is thick with reactive gases. Their planet has thousands of species that could kill most council members easily. Yet humans thrived. They became the dominant species through intelligence, endurance, and aggression. More images appeared. Human history, battles, wars, conflicts spanning thousands of years. Humans have been fighting each other for their entire recorded history. They developed weapons and tactics in constant warfare. Their entire civilization is built on survival through strength and adaptation. Ambassador Thielen's scales turned pale. You are saying they are a warrior species? Not exactly, Kelvin replied. They are a survival species. Humans developed art, science, and philosophy while fighting for every resource their harsh world provided. They are not warriors by choice. They are warriors by necessity, and now they brought those instincts to space. High Counselor Vereen raised one hand for silence. Research Director Kellex, what were your impressions of Captain Brady and her crew? Kellex thought carefully about the question. Captain Brady was professional, polite, and truly concerned for our welfare. However, I noticed something during our time together. Her crew moved with precision and discipline I have rarely seen. Their ship was not just a vessel. It was a weapon, and every person on it knew their role perfectly. These are people who take their military responsibilities very seriously. But here is what struck me most, Honored Council. When I thanked Captain Brady for saving my crew, she seemed surprised. She said, and I quote exactly, "You called for help." We answered. That is what civilized people do. To humanity, this huge mobilization was not exceptional. It was simply the right thing to do. Silence fell across the chamber. Council members absorbed this information. They had spent centuries building the galactic community on cooperation and mutual aid. But when faced with crisis, they hesitated. They followed protocols and bureaucracy. Humanity simply acted, Counselor Mara spoke quietly. What do they want from us? Captain Brady asked. For nothing, Kellex replied. She offered continued protection while we repair the Meridian. She asked permission to establish diplomatic relations. She expressed hope that humanity could join the galactic community as equals. She wants friendship, not conquest. High Counselor Vereen stood, her forearms spread wide. Then we shall extend that friendship. Ambassador Kelvin, prepare a diplomatic mission to Earth. Research Director Kellex, you will go with them. You already established good relations with humanity. We will welcome Earth into the galactic community, not as a threat to contain, but as a partner to value. The Council voted. The decision was unanimous. Every single species voted to invite humanity. But as the session ended, many council members wondered what they had just started. The Deathworlders had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. After the vote, small groups gathered to talk quietly. Some were excited. Some were nervous. All were curious. What would it mean to have humans in the community? How would their presence change things? Ambassador Kelvin spoke with a group of military advisors. If the Krell attack humanity expecting an easy target, they will be destroyed. Human ships are built to survive damage that would cripple our vessels. Human weapons hit harder than anything the Krell have faced, and human tactics focus on winning quickly and decisively. One advisor asked a question. Should we be worried about human military power? Kelvin thought about that. I do not think so. Humans could have demanded payment for their rescue. They could have claimed salvage rights to the Krell ships. They could have used this situation to negotiate favorable terms. Instead, they just helped. They expect nothing in return except friendship. That tells me a lot about their character. Another advisor spoke up. But what if they change? What if their aggressive nature turns toward us? Then we will deal with it, Kelvin said firmly. But judging species by fear of what they might do is wrong. We judge them by their actions. And humanity actions have been honorable. They deserve a chance. In another part of the chamber, Counselor Mara talked with trade representatives. Earth has resources we need, and they need resources we have. Trade between our worlds could benefit everyone, but we must be careful. We do not want to appear to be taking advantage of them. The trade representatives agreed. First contact must be handled delicately. We offer fair deals. We show respect. We build trust slowly. Humanity seems honorable. We should match that honor. High Counselor Vereen watched the discussions happening throughout the chamber. She felt hope. Yes, humanity was powerful. Yes, they were different from most species. But maybe that was what the community needed. Someone to remind them that principles mattered. That action was sometimes better than endless debate. An aide approached her. High Counselor, when should we send the diplomatic mission to Earth? As soon as possible, Vereen replied. We should not make them wait. They answered a call for help immediately. We should answer their request for friendship just as quickly. The aide nodded and left to make arrangements. Vereen looked at the star map display. Somewhere out there, humans were repairing the Meridian. They were treating wounded. They were doing what the community claimed to value but sometimes forgot to practice. She thought about Captain Brady's words. You called for help, we answered. That is what civilized people do. Such simple words, such profound truth. The community had become so focused on rules and procedures that they forgot the basic principle. Help those who need it. Maybe humanity would help remind them. Maybe these Deathworlders would make the community better, stronger, more willing to act when action was needed. She hoped so. The galaxy faced many challenges. Pirates like the Krell, unexplored dangers in deep space, political tensions between species. Having humans as allies could make facing those challenges easier. They brought strength. They brought determination. They brought a willingness to fight for what was right. Combined with community wisdom and cooperation, it could be a powerful partnership. Vereen smiled. She was looking forward to meeting these humans. She wanted to see Earth. She wanted to understand the world that created such a remarkable species. Soon she would get that chance. The diplomatic mission would leave within days. And then the real work of building friendship between humanity and the galaxy would begin. The Deathworlders had been discovered. Now came the harder task: integration, understanding, building trust, and cooperation. It would not be easy. Cultural differences would cause misunderstandings. Different values would create friction. But Vereen believed it was worth the effort. Humanity had proven. Commander Jake Murphy sat at his desk in the control room of Defense Station 7. He looked at the screens showing space around Earth. It was a quiet night. Nothing unusual was happening. He picked up his coffee cup and took a sip. The hot liquid felt good going down his throat. 3 more hours until his shift ended and someone else would take over. Lieutenant Lisa Carter sat at the communications desk. She was checking the radio signals that came from space. Most nights there was nothing interesting. Just old satellites sending their reports and space stations talking to each other. She yawned and stretched her arms. Then something on her screen made her sit up straight. Her fingers started moving fast across the keyboard. Commander Murphy, I am seeing something strange on my screen. There is a signal coming from deep space. It does not match anything we have in our computer, Lisa said. Her voice sounded worried. Jake put down his coffee cup and walked over to her desk. He looked at her screen. The signal looked different from anything he had seen before. Where is it coming from, he asked. From very far away. About 40 light hours from here. The signal is very strong. Whatever is sending this message has a lot of power. Much more power than our best transmitters. Lisa pointed at the numbers on her screen. Jake looked closer. The pattern of the signal was not like human radio waves. It moved in a way that seemed almost alive. Can you understand what it says, he asked. Lisa typed commands into her computer. I'm trying. The translation program is having problems. This is not like any language we know. Wait, I am getting something now. The computer is finding patterns. It looks like math. Numbers arranged in special ways. Words started appearing on the main screen. Jake read them slowly. This is Science Vessel Meridian of the Galactic Community. We are under attack by hostile forces. Our engines are broken. Our life support systems are failing. We have 327 crew members. We need help immediately. Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was a message from aliens. Real aliens from another world. And they were in trouble. He turned to Lieutenant Ben Harrison at the weapons desk. Sound the alarm. Get everyone to their stations. Contact Fleet Command right now. Loud sirens started ringing through the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. People ran to their positions. Everyone knew something important was happening. The quiet night shift suddenly became very busy. Screens lit up with information. Officers started checking their systems. 2 minutes later, Admiral Helen Morris appeared on the big screen. She was an older woman with gray hair. Her face showed that she had been in the military for many years. Commander Murphy, what is happening? She asked in a firm voice. Admiral, we received a message from space. It is from aliens. They say they are under attack. They have over 300 people on their ship. Their life support is failing. They are asking for help. Jake spoke clearly and quickly. The Admiral was quiet for a moment. Her eyes became hard like steel. Are you sure this is really from aliens and not some kind of trick? Yes, Admiral. The signal uses technology we do not have. The language patterns are completely different from human languages, and the power needed to send this signal is far beyond what any human transmitter can produce. This is real. Admiral Morris looked away from the camera for a moment. Then she looked back at Jake. How long would it take our fastest ships to reach them? About 40 hours at maximum speed. But Admiral, their message says their life support is failing. They might not have 40 hours left. The Admiral nodded slowly. I understand. Get me the military leaders immediately. Use emergency code Morris 77 Alpha. We are starting Protocol Omega. Jake felt his stomach tighten. Protocol Omega was the biggest military response possible. It meant calling every available warship. It meant preparing for a major war. The Admiral was treating this like Earth itself was being attacked. Admiral, is such a large response necessary? We do not know what we are facing out there, Jake said carefully. Admiral Morris looked at him with serious eyes. Commander, these beings asked us for help. If we do nothing, if we are too slow, we tell the whole galaxy what kind of people we are. I will not let 300 innocent people die because we were afraid or too careful. We are going with full force. Do you understand? Yes, Admiral. I understand. Jake stood straight. The screen went dark. Jake turned back to his crew. Everyone was watching him. You heard the Admiral. Keep monitoring that signal. Tell me about any changes. Work with Fleet Command. Give them all the information they need about the alien ship location. Lisa looked up from her desk. Her face was pale. Sir, I am picking up more signals now. They are weaker than the distress call. I think they are weapons firing. The attackers are still fighting with the alien ship. How much longer can they survive? Jake asked. Lisa studied her screens. Based on how their signal is getting weaker, I think about 36 hours before their main power fails completely. After that, everyone on that ship will die. Jake looked at the hologram showing where the alien ship was located. It was just a small dot of light very far away, but that dot represented hundreds of living beings who were scared and hurt, and hoping someone would save them. And humanity had heard their call. All around Earth, military bases received emergency orders. Soldiers ran to their ships. Engineers loaded weapons and fuel as fast as possible. Medical teams prepared for wounded patients. Everyone knew this was different. This was not a training exercise. This was real. In orbit around Earth, huge warships powered up their engines. Lights came on across their hulls. Smaller ships moved into formation. Supply vessels rushed between them carrying ammunition and supplies. The space around Earth became busy with activity. Jake watched his screen show the military response growing. Dozens of ships were getting ready. Then hundreds. Every available warship was being called to action. He had never seen anything like this in his entire career. Lieutenant Harrison spoke from his station. Sir, Fleet Command reports that 117 combat ships will be ready to depart in 8 hours. They are loading extra weapons and supplies right now. 117 warships. Jake thought about that number. It was an enormous force, big enough to fight a major war, and they were sending all of it to save one alien ship with 300 people on it. Lisa kept monitoring the distress signal. Sir, the alien ship is still broadcasting. They are asking if anyone received their message. They sound desperate. Can you send a message back to them? Jake asked. I can try. The computer might be able to translate our words into their mathematical language. Lisa started typing. Tell them this. We received your call for help. Earth is sending ships. Hold on, we are coming, Jake said. Lisa worked on her computer for several minutes. Then she pressed a button. Message sent, sir. I do not know if they will understand it, but I tried my best. Jake nodded. Now we wait. And we hope our ships get there in time. The hours passed slowly. Jake drank more coffee and watched his screens. The distress signal kept repeating. The alien ship was still alive out there in the darkness, still fighting, still hoping. And from Earth, the greatest military force humanity had ever assembled was preparing to answer their call. Because when someone asks for help, you answer. That is what makes people civilized. That is what makes them human. Captain Nicole Brady stood on the bridge of the warship Titan. She looked out the window at the space around Earth. Hundreds of ships were getting ready to leave. Supply shuttles flew between the big warships like small fish. They carried weapons, fuel, and food. Everything was moving very fast. Commander Ryan Clark walked up to her. He held a datapad in his hand. Captain, all departments say they are ready. We loaded 30% more ammunition than normal. The engineering team says the ship is heavy, but it will be okay. Nicole nodded. Good. How many ships are going with us? The final count is 117 combat vessels. 12 big dreadnoughts, 34 cruisers, 41 destroyers, and 30 frigates. We also have 8 medical ships and 4 repair ships. Ryan read from his pad. Nicole thought about that number. 117 warships. That was more firepower than she had ever seen in one place. These ships could destroy a small moon if they wanted to. And they were bringing all this power to save a single alien ship. The main screen turned on. Admiral Helen Morris appeared. She looked at all the ship captains at once. Attention all vessels. 12 hours ago, humanity got its first message from aliens. That message was a call for help. The science ship Meridian has 327 people on it. Unknown enemies are attacking them. Their life support is failing. They will die without our help. The Admiral paused. She let everyone think about her words. Many of you wonder why we are sending so many ships. The answer is simple. We do not know what we will find out there. We do not know how strong the attackers are. We do not know how many enemy ships there are. What we do know is that innocent people are dying, and they asked us for help. Humanity has been preparing for this moment for a long time. We always wondered what we would do when we met aliens. Today we answer that question. We show the galaxy that Earth does not leave people behind. We show everyone that humanity fights against evil wherever we find it. The Admiral looked more gentle now. I know many of you have families at home. I know you joined the military to protect Earth, not to fight unknown enemies far away, But this moment defines who we are. Will we turn away when others need help? Or will we answer the call? Voices from every ship said yes. They were ready. Nicole felt proud. These were good people. Brave people. They were about to go into the unknown together. All ships get ready to jump. We leave in 10 minutes. Admiral Morris out. The screen went dark. Nicole turned to her crew. You heard the Admiral. Navigation, check our jump coordinates. Engineering, I want maximum power from the engines. Weapons, test all systems. We are going in ready for anything. Lieutenant Danny Foster looked up from his navigation station. Captain? I studied the energy signals from the ships attacking the Meridian. Their weapons are different from anything in our database. The power levels suggest they have more advanced technology than us. Are you saying we might lose this fight? Nicole asked. Danny looked worried. I am saying we do not know. Our weapons were made to fight human ships. These attackers might have abilities we cannot predict. Ryan stepped closer to Nicole. He spoke quietly. Captain, we are from Earth. We grew up in gravity stronger than most planets. We built our weapons during thousands of years of war. We made ships that can survive heavy damage. Whatever is out there, they have never fought humans before. Nicole smiled. She had read the reports about Earth. Scientists from other worlds called it a death world. Most alien species came from planets with lighter gravity and safer environments. Earth was dangerous. The animals were deadly. The weather was harsh. But humans survived and became strong. The report said that humans were stronger and tougher than most aliens. Human ships were built much stronger than alien ships. Human weapons were designed to destroy enemies who could think and adapt. And human tactics were aggressive and focused on winning quickly. All ships report ready for jump. The communications officer announced. Nicole sat in her command chair. Execute jump on my mark. 3, 2, 1 mark. The stars outside stretched into long lines of light. The Titan and all the other ships tore through space itself. They were traveling faster than light. 117 warships from a world that had never known peace. They carried weapons made during endless wars. And they were going to show the galaxy what happened when you threatened someone under human protection. In the medical bay, Dr. Karen Price got her teams ready for wounded patients. She organized supplies and prepared operating rooms. She did not know if she would be treating humans or aliens, but she would help whoever needed it. In the hangar bays, fighter pilots checked their small combat ships. They tested their weapons and engines. They made sure everything worked perfectly. They knew they might have to fight soon. In the weapons rooms, computers armed the missiles. They charged the energy weapons. Everything was ready to fire. The ship could start fighting in seconds if needed. Nicole watched the countdown on her screen. They would arrive at the Meridian location in about 38 hours. The alien ship needed to survive that long. She hoped they would make it in time. Ryan stood next to her chair. Captain, what do you think we will find when we get there? I do not know, but whatever it is, we will handle it. That is what we do. We protect people who cannot protect themselves, Nicole said. The crew worked quietly at their stations. Everyone was focused. They knew this mission was important. This was not just about saving one ship. This was about showing the galaxy who humans were. This was about making a good first impression. Hours passed. The fleet traveled through hyperspace. The ships stayed in perfect formation. Every captain knew their position. Every crew member did their job. They were professionals. Nicole thought about the alien crew on the Meridian. They must be so scared. Their ship was broken. Their enemies were still attacking. They sent a message hoping someone would hear. And humans heard. Humans were coming with the biggest fleet they could build. She wondered what the aliens looked like. Did they have 2 arms and 2 legs like humans? Did they breathe oxygen? Did they have families waiting for them at home? She hoped she would get to meet them. She hoped they would survive long enough for that meeting to happen. The navigation officer called out. Captain, we are halfway there. 18 hours until we arrive. Good. Keep me informed of any changes. I am going to get some rest. Wake me immediately if anything happens. Nicole stood up. Ryan, you have command. Yes, Captain. Ryan moved to the command chair. Nicole went to her quarters. She lay down on her bed but could not sleep. She kept thinking about the battle ahead. Would the enemy run when they saw the human fleet? Would they fight? How many people would die today? She thought about her training. Years of practice, thousands of simulations, but this was real. Real lives depending on her decisions. Real aliens trusting humans to save them. The weight of responsibility felt heavy, but Nicole was ready. She was trained for this. Her crew was trained for this. Humanity was ready to step onto the galactic stage, and they would do it by showing kindness and strength together. They would save the Meridian. They would stop the attackers, and they would prove that humans were worthy of joining the galaxy. The Deathworlders were coming to war, and the galaxy was about to learn what that really meant. The human fleet appeared in space all at once. 117 ships materialized in a perfect circle formation. Their sensors immediately started scanning for dangers. They were looking for the Meridian and the ships attacking it. On the bridge of the Titan, Captain Nicole Brady looked at the tactical screen. There was the Meridian. The alien ship was huge, almost 3 kilometers long, but it looked badly damaged. Parts of the hull had holes. Gas was leaking from multiple places, and surrounding it were 6 enemy vessels. The enemy ships looked like sharks circling wounded prey. Hostile vessels confirmed. Lieutenant Danny Foster called out. Reading 6 ships. Design unknown. They are positioned around the Meridian. Wait, they are changing course. Sir, all 6 enemy ships are moving toward us. Admiral Helen Morris spoke over the fleet channel. All ships, this is Morris. I can see the hostile forces attacking the Meridian. Rules of engagement are active. Weapons free. Repeat, weapons free. Show them what happens when they attack innocent people. Nicole felt her heart beat faster. This was it. Humanity was about to fight aliens for the first time. Whatever happened in the next few minutes would be remembered forever. Tactical. What are we looking at? Commander Ryan Clark studied his screens. Hostile ships are about 1.8 kilometers long. I can see multiple weapon ports, probably energy weapons. Hull looks like advanced metal alloys. No obvious weak spots. They are accelerating toward us very fast. How long until they reach us? Nicole asked. About 90 seconds if they keep this speed. Nicole made her decision quickly. All weapons prepare to fire. Target the lead hostile vessel. I want everything we have ready the moment they come into range. Launch our fighters. Have them move to the sides of our formation. If these enemies want a fight, we will give them one. Throughout the fleet, similar orders were being given. Weapons officers armed the railguns. These were massive guns that could shoot metal slugs at incredible speeds. Missile tubes loaded warheads. Each missile was powerful enough to destroy a building. Energy weapons charged up. They were ready to fire beams of concentrated particles. The human battle group became a weapon. The hostile ships fired first. Purple beams of energy reached across space. The beams hit the front human destroyers. Nicole watched, waiting to see what would happen. The shields on the destroyers glowed bright blue. They absorbed the hits. The destroyers kept moving forward without slowing down. Minimal damage to the destroyer squadron. Ryan sounded surprised. Their weapons are powerful, but our shields are holding well. Their weapons work better against the Meridian hull than against our military defenses. Nicole allowed herself a small smile. All ships return fire. Show them what Earth brings. The human fleet opened fire with everything. Railgun slugs, each weighing several tons, shot through space. They moved at a significant fraction of light speed. Missiles launched from their tubes. They flew on chemical rockets first, then activated fusion drives. They became like tiny stars racing toward the targets. Particle beams created lines of burning light through the vacuum. The lead hostile vessel took the full power of the Titan firepower. Railgun slugs punched through its shields like paper. They created huge craters in the hull. Pieces flew away in all directions. Missiles exploded against its sides. Each explosion was like a small sun. Particle beams carved glowing lines across its surface. The metal turned to vapor. The hostile ship staggered. Its shields collapsed completely. Atmosphere leaked from many holes. It tried to fire back, but a second wave of human weapons tore it apart. The vessel broke into 3 large pieces. Each piece trailed debris and frozen air. Enemy vessel destroyed, Ryan announced. He sounded satisfied. The remaining 5 hostiles are breaking formation. Wait, they are trying to run away. All 5 are accelerating away from us. Admiral Morris' voice came through. Do not let them escape. I want those ships disabled or destroyed. They need to tell their masters what happens when you attack someone under human protection. The human fleet surged forward. The destroyers and frigates were faster than the big ships. They pulled ahead. Their weapons kept firing. One by one, the running hostile vessels took heavy damage. 2 more exploded under railgun fire. A third lost its engines and just drifted in space. The last 2 activated some emergency system and vanished. 3 hostiles destroyed, 1 disabled, 2 escaped. Ryan summarized the battle. Total engagement time was 4 minutes, 17 seconds. Nicole took a deep breath. 4 minutes. That was all it took for humanity to announce its presence in the galaxy. Get me a damage report on the Meridian. I want medical ships next to it immediately. Someone open a communication channel. Let them know we are here to help. A moment later, the screen flickered. An alien face appeared. The being had large eyes that shimmered with many colors. Its head was smooth with delicate patterns. Its mouth moved in strange ways. But Nicole could see relief in its expression. "This is Science Vessel Meridian," the alien said. A computer translated its words into English. "We got your response to our distress call. We cannot thank you enough. You saved 327 lives today. I am Research Director Kellix. Who are you?" Nicole straightened up. "I am Captain Nicole Brady of the United Earthship Titan. We represent humanity. We got your call for help. Our medical teams are getting ready to help your wounded. Can you tell us your current status?" Kellix's eyes widened. Something that looked like surprise moved across its features. "You are from Earth, the Death World in Sector 770. We did not know your species had space travel capability. We have been exploring space for some time," Nicole said carefully. "But this is our first contact with other intelligent life. Can you tell us who was attacking you? Raiders from the Krell Empire. They attack research vessels and transport ships. They take what they want and destroy the rest. They are a disease in this sector. The galactic community has tried to stop them but struggled." Nicole looked at Ryan. "Well, they just learned that there is a new player. And we do not tolerate pirates." Kellix looked at the destroyed enemy ships on its screen. "I can see that, Captain. Your response was impressive. The Krell have terrorized this region for cycles. You defeated them in minutes. We do not like bullies, and we protect those who need protection," Nicole said. "Now let us help your crew. Our medical teams are some of the best in human space. They will take good care of your people. We accept your help gratefully," Kellix said. "Captain Brady, I must ask, why did you send so many ships? Your fleet could fight a major war, yet you came to save 1 research vessel." Nicole thought about the question. "Because you called for help. And when someone calls for help, you answer. That is what civilized people do. It does not matter if it is 1 person or 300. Every life has value." Kellix was quiet for a long moment. "Captain Brady, I think the galactic community has much to learn from humanity. Your response today shows honor." "Thank you." The medical ships moved close to the Meridian. Doctors and nurses prepared to board the damaged vessel. They brought supplies and equipment. Human engineers studied the damage to see what they could repair. Nicole watched the rescue operation begin. This was what humanity did best. Not just fighting, but helping. Not just destroying enemies, but saving friends. They had shown the galaxy their strength. Now they would show their compassion. Ryan stood next to her. "Captain, the disabled enemy vessel. What should we do with it?" "Board it. Secure any survivors. Take their computer systems for intelligence. And treat any wounded with the same care we give the Meridian crew." "We are not savages," Nicole said. A boarding team went to the disabled Krell ship. They found a few survivors. The Krell looked different from anything humans had seen. But the boarding team treated them professionally. They gave medical care. They secured them safely. They followed the rules of war. Hours passed. The rescue operation continued. Human doctors worked alongside alien crew members. They learned each other medical techniques. They saved lives together. Language barriers did not matter when people worked toward the same goal. Admiral Morris called again. "Captain Brady, excellent work. The Council of Worlds has been monitoring our communications. They want to meet with us. They want to invite humanity to join the galactic community." Nicole felt a surge of pride. "We did it then. We made a good first impression. You did more than that, Captain. You showed them what humanity stands for. Prepare for diplomatic contact. This is just the beginning." Admiral Morris smiled. "Well done, all of you. Morris out." Nicole looked at her crew. They were tired but happy. They had fought well. They had saved lives. They had done their duty. Every good. Take us to standard alert status. Coordinate with the other ships. We stay here until the Meridian is safe to travel. And someone break out the good food. We are celebrating tonight. The crew cheered. They had earned it. Humanity had passed its first test, and the galaxy would never forget what happened here today. 6 months after the rescue of the Meridian, Captain Nicole Brady found herself in a very different situation. Instead of commanding a warship, she stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council on Centaura Prime. She wore her full dress uniform. She waited to address representatives from 217 alien species. The hall was magnificent. The structure seemed to defy the laws of physics. The walls shifted between solid matter and transparent energy fields. Through the transparent sections, she could see the stars beyond. The representatives sat in curved tiers that wrapped around the central speaking platform where Nicole stood. High Counselor Vereen gestured for silence. Captain Brady, you stand before the Council of Worlds as humanity representative. Your actions 6 months ago prevented a tragedy. You demonstrated that Earth shares the values we hold dear. Before we proceed with formal admission to the galactic community, we would hear your words. What does humanity wish to bring to the stars? Nicole took a deep breath. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Diplomats and advisors helped her write the perfect speech. But standing here now, facing beings from worlds she never imagined, she decided to speak from her heart instead. Honored Council, representatives of the galactic community, I come before you not as a conqueror or a beggar, but as a fellow traveler in this vast universe. Humanity has spent our entire history looking up at the stars and wondering if we were alone. Now we know the answer, and it fills us with joy. She paused. She made eye contact with representatives across the chamber. You have reviewed our history. I will not pretend it is perfect. Humans have fought wars. We made terrible mistakes. Sometimes we failed to live up to our own ideals, but we have also created beauty, pursued knowledge, and built civilizations based on the principle that every thinking being has worth. When we received the Meridian distress call, there was no debate about whether to respond. Some questioned the size of our response, but no one questioned the need to help. Because that is who we are. We stand with those who cannot stand alone. We defend those who cannot defend themselves. And we will never turn away when someone calls for help. Ambassador Thielen from the Vraxian Collective stood. Captain Brady, your words are noble, but many of us have concerns. Your species is strong in combat. Your weapons technology is advanced. How can we be certain that humanity will not become a threat to the community? Nicole met his gaze steadily. You cannot be certain, Ambassador, just as I cannot be certain that every species here will always honor their commitments. Trust is not given. It is earned through actions. We demonstrated our intentions when we risked our ships and lives to save the Meridian. We will continue to demonstrate them every day we are part of this community. However, I will say this. Yes, humans are good at warfare. We had to be to survive on our world, but we are also good at so many other things. We are artists, scientists, explorers, and dreamers. We want to share all of that with you, not just our weapons. Research Director Kellix rose from its seat. If I may address the council, I spent 3 weeks on human vessels after the rescue. I saw their medical techniques. They saved 17 members of my crew who would have died with our technology. I studied their engineering. They repaired damage to the Meridian that our own technicians thought impossible. And I experienced their hospitality. They made us feel not like burdens but like honored guests. Humanity does not just excel at destruction. They excel at creation, at solving problems, at adaptation. They will bring innovations we cannot imagine. They approach challenges from a perspective shaped by a world that demanded constant innovation for survival. Counselor Mara from the Pelleran Republic spoke next. Captain Brady, the Krell raiders you defeated have plagued this sector for generations. Our fleets have fought them for cycles with limited success. How did you defeat them so easily? Nicole considered her answer carefully. Our tactics may seem aggressive by your standards, but they are designed for maximum efficiency. Humans learned long ago that hesitation in battle costs lives. We hit hard. We hit fast. We do not give enemies time to adapt. Additionally, our weapons were designed to fight opponents with similar technology. Against the Krell, who were not expecting our firepower, the battle was shorter than it might have been against an equal opponent. But here is what I want you to understand. Those tactics, that aggression, they are tools we use when necessary. They do not define us. When the shooting stopped, our first action was to offer medical aid. We did not claim salvage or demand payment. We fought to protect, not to conquer. High Counselor Vereen rose. Her expression was thoughtful. Captain Brady, humanity has shown both strength and compassion. You demonstrated that you can fight when necessary and show mercy when possible. The Council will now vote on Earth admission to the galactic community. The voting process was quick. One by one, representatives registered their decisions. Nicole watched the numbers climb. Her heart pounded. 217 species. 217 votes. When the final count appeared on the display, she felt tears in her eyes. Unanimous. Every single species voted to welcome humanity. Captain Nicole Brady. High Counselor Vereen announced. Her voice carried across the hall. On behalf of the Council of Worlds and the galactic community, we formally welcome humanity as full members. May your species bring the same courage, innovation, and compassion to the stars that you showed when you answered the Meridian call. The hall erupted with sounds Nicole could not identify, the alien equivalent of applause. She bowed formally. She felt overwhelmed. Humanity was no longer alone. They were part of something greater. A community that spanned the galaxy. As she left the hall, Research Director Kellix approached her. Captain Brady, I wanted to thank you personally once more. You saved my life and the lives of my crew. I will never forget what humanity did for us. Nicole smiled. We just did what was right, Director. And I hope that principle guides all our future interactions with the community. Humanity has a lot to learn from all of you, and hopefully we have something to teach as well. Kellix's eyes shimmered with emotion. Oh, you have already taught us something valuable, Captain. You reminded us that sometimes the measure of a civilization is not in its technology or territories. It is in its willingness to help strangers in need. The galactic community became complacent, slow to act, constrained by bureaucracy. Watching humanity respond with such decisive action inspired many of us to remember why the community was founded. I am glad we could make a difference. Nicole replied. But I have to ask, what happens now? We stopped one group of raiders, but there must be others. And there are surely other threats the community faces. Now, Captain, now we work together. The Council has already begun discussing joint operations with human forces to address the piracy problem. Your Admiral Morris and several community fleet commanders are meeting to share tactical knowledge and coordinate patrols. And beyond that, there are scientific collaborations being established, cultural exchanges being planned, trade agreements being negotiated. Nicole looked out through the transparent wall at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, human ships were already joining community patrols. Human scientists were preparing to work in alien laboratories. Human diplomats were learning to navigate politics spanning hundreds of worlds. She thought about the journey that led here. The distress call that started everything. The massive mobilization of Earth Fleet. The battle that lasted only minutes but changed history. The rescue operation that saved hundreds of lives. And now this moment standing in an alien hall representing her entire species. It was overwhelming, but it was also right. Humanity belonged here, not because they were the strongest or the smartest, but because they understood the basic truth that civilizations were built on helping each other, on standing together against darkness, on protecting those who could not protect themselves. The Deathworlders had come to the stars. They brought all the strength and determination that allowed them to survive on their harsh world. But they also brought compassion. They brought hope. They brought the willingness to sacrifice for others. And the galaxy, which had existed in peace and stagnation for so long, would never be the same. Humanity had arrived. They were ready to prove that the best response to a cry for help was to answer with everything you had, because that was what civilized people did. Nicole walked through the council building. Aliens of all shapes and sizes passed her. Some nodded. Some made gestures she assumed were friendly. A few stopped to congratulate her. She tried to remember the proper responses for each species. It was complicated, but she would learn. Outside, a transport waited to take her back to the Titan. The ship was docked at the orbital station above Centaura Prime. Her crew was probably celebrating. They had earned it. They made history today. As the transport lifted off, Nicole looked down at the alien city below. Towers of crystal and metal reached toward the sky. Beings from across the galaxy walked the streets, worked together, lived together. And now humans would be part of that, part of something bigger than just Earth. She thought about her parents back home. They would be watching the news broadcasts, probably crying with pride. She thought about all the humans who looked at the stars and dreamed. Their dreams were coming true. humanity was going to. 1 year after first contact, Commander Jake Murphy stood in the same control room where it all began. Defense Station 7 looked the same, but everything else had changed. The screens now displayed data from across the galaxy. Human ships patrolled sectors that did not even have names a year ago. And the communications desk received messages in dozens of alien languages every day. Lieutenant Lisa Carter sat at her station. She was promoted twice since that night. She now coordinated communications between Earth and 12 different alien species. The job that used to be boring was now the busiest position on the station. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission from the Joint Patrol in Sector 9, Lisa said. Captain Brady reports the patrol encountered a smuggling operation. They seized contraband and arrested 15 suspects. No casualties on either side, Jake nodded. Send her my congratulations. Any other traffic, Admiral Morris wants to speak with you. Secure channel. Lisa replied, put her through. Jake said. Admiral Morris appeared on the screen. She looked tired but satisfied. Commander Murphy, I wanted to give you an update. The Council just approved the Joint Defense Initiative. We will be establishing permanent bases in 5 sectors. Human and community forces will train together and respond to threats as one. That is excellent news, Admiral. Jake said it is also because of you, Commander. You received that first distress call. You made the right decisions. You started all of this. The Admiral smiled. How does it feel to have changed history? Jake thought about that. Honestly, Admiral, it feels surreal. A year ago, we were alone. Now we have friends across the galaxy. We are part of something bigger than just Earth. It is amazing. The Admiral nodded. And it is just the beginning. The Council wants to establish an exchange program. Human officers will serve on community ships. Alien officers will serve on our ships. We will learn from each other. Share knowledge and experiences. That sounds like it will create strong bonds, Jake said. That is the hope. The more we work together, the more we understand each other. The more we understand each other, the stronger the community becomes. Admiral Morris looked directly at Jake. You should be proud, Commander. Your actions that night set us on this path. I just did my job, Admiral. But thank you, Jake replied. The screen went dark. Jake turned back to monitoring the station operations. But his mind wandered. He thought about that night a year ago. The strange signal. The desperate message. The massive mobilization. It seemed like a lifetime ago, so much had changed. Earth now had embassies on 40 different worlds. Human scientists worked in alien laboratories, discovering things that would have taken centuries to learn alone. Human engineers helped build space stations that served the entire community. Human doctors treated patients from species they had never seen before. And it went both ways. Aliens came to Earth. They walked human streets. They taught in human universities. They shared their knowledge and culture. Some even decided to stay permanently, making Earth their new home. The cultural exchange was sometimes difficult. Different species had different values, different ways of thinking, different customs. There were misunderstandings, occasional conflicts, but people worked through them. They learned patience. They learned compromise. They learned that differences made the community stronger, not weaker. Lieutenant Ben Harrison called out from his station. Sir, we have another situation. A cargo ship is reporting engine failure in the asteroid belt. They have 40 crew members and are drifting toward a collision course. Jake did not hesitate. Alert the nearest patrol. Get me their exact coordinates. And dispatch a rescue tug from Earth orbit. We are not letting anyone die if we can help it. The response was automatic now. Immediate, efficient. Because that was what you did when someone needed help. You answered. You acted. You saved lives. It did not matter if they were human or alien. Every life had value. Hours later, Jake received confirmation. The cargo ship was safe. The crew was rescued. No casualties. Just another day in the new galactic community. Just another example of different species working together to protect each other. As his shift ended, Jake walked to the observation deck. He looked out at Earth below. The planet looked the same from space. Blue and white and beautiful. But down there, everything was different. Alien tourists visited human cities. Alien goods filled human markets. Alien music played on human radio stations. And humans ventured out into the galaxy. Thousands of them now. Explorers mapping unknown regions. Merchants trading goods. Scientists researching mysteries. Soldiers protecting the weak. Teachers sharing knowledge. Artists creating beauty. Jake thought about the Meridian, the ship that started it all. It had been fully repaired and returned to service. Research Director Kellix visited Earth 3 times now. They became friends. They exchanged letters regularly. Kellix even learned to enjoy human coffee, though it found the taste strange. The Krell Empire learned a hard lesson. After losing ships to human forces, they tried one more raid. A joint human community fleet responded. The battle was swift and decisive. The Krell surrendered and agreed to a treaty. No more raiding, no more piracy. They would follow community law or face consequences. Some Krell even joined the community. They were not all bad. Many were just following orders from corrupt leaders. When given a choice, they chose peace. They chose cooperation. They chose a better path. Jake smiled. That was the power of the community. It offered redemption. It offered second chances. It showed that even former enemies could become friends if given the opportunity. His communicator beeped. A message from his daughter on Earth. She was accepted into the new xenology program at university. She would study alien cultures and languages, maybe become a diplomat one day. She was excited. The message was full of enthusiasm and dreams. Jake felt proud. His daughter would grow up in a galaxy full of possibilities. She would meet beings from hundreds of worlds. She would see things he could barely imagine. And it was all possible because humanity answered a call for help a year ago. He thought about all the people who made this possible. Admiral Morris, who made the decision to mobilize the fleet. Captain Brady, who led the rescue mission with skill and compassion. The crew of every ship that responded. The doctors and engineers and diplomats who built bridges between species. And yes, even himself for receiving that first message and recognizing its importance. But mostly he thought about the principle that guided them all. When someone needs help, you answer. Simple, direct, universal. It did not matter if you were human or alien, if you came from a death world or a paradise, if you were strong or weak. When someone called for help, civilized people answered. That principle built the galactic community. It sustained the community through challenges, and now with humanity as members, it would continue to guide them into the future. Jake returned to the control room. Lisa was training a new officer. A young woman fresh from the academy. She looked nervous but eager. Jake remembered that feeling. The excitement of starting a career. The hope of making a difference. He approached them. Welcome to Defense Station 7. This is where humanity's first contact with aliens happened. This is where you will help coordinate our continuing cooperation with the community. It is important work. Are you ready? The young officer straightened. Yes, sir. I am ready. I want to help build the future. Jake smiled. Then you are in the right place. Learn everything Lisa teaches you. Ask questions. Stay alert. And remember, every message we receive might be important. Every call might be someone needing help. We answer those calls. That is who we are. The young officer nodded seriously. She understood. She was part of something bigger now. Part of a mission that extended beyond Earth, beyond the solar system, across the galaxy. As Jake walked back to his station, he felt satisfied. The future was bright. Humanity had found its place among the stars. Not as conquerors, not as servants, but as equals. As partners, as friends, they brought their strength, their determination, their refusal to give up. But they also brought compassion, creativity, the willingness to help others, and that combination made them valuable members of the community. There would be challenges ahead. Jake knew that. The galaxy was vast. There were still unknown threats. Unexplored regions, mysteries to solve, conflicts to resolve. But humanity would face them alongside their new friends. Together, they were stronger. He sat at his desk and reviewed the daily reports. Trade agreements signed. Scientific discoveries shared. Cultural festivals planned. Medical breakthroughs announced. Every day brought new examples of cooperation. New proof that different species could work together for common goals. And somewhere out there in the darkness between stars, someone might be sending a distress call right now. Someone scared and alone, hoping for rescue. If that call reached Defense Station 7, Jake would hear it. And humanity would answer, just like they answered the Meridian. Because that was what civilized people did. They helped. They protected. They stood together against the darkness. And as long as humanity remembered that, as long as they held to that principle, they would be worthy of their place in the galactic community. The Deathworlders had come to the stars. They proved that strength and compassion could exist together, that military power and moral principles were not opposites but partners, that the measure of civilization was not